Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, time for another Metal Earth kit build, this time something musical. Today I'm going to put together the drum set. I've already put together the electric guitar and electric bass. Now we need some drums to go with everything. I don't think this is going to be as simple as the guitar or bass. It's two sheets. But I don't think it's going to be that much more complicated. Let's open it up and see what's inside. The drum set. Two metal sheets stuck together. Here's the instructions. One piece of paper. Metal Earth, the usual, let's just flatten that out some more. The usual Metal Earth title, little line drawing. We have the usual bit about insertion holes and folds and tabs and kind of how that goes. We have the needle nose pliers are helpful for assembly. And we have the key or legend here. The blue circle, when you see that in the directions, means to fold tabs over 90 degrees. Green triangle, when you see that at a connection point, it means to twist the tab 90 degrees, which usually makes a more secure connection. And then down here we have the two sheets. There's one, and there's two. And already we've got a bent part. There we go. And all of the parts are numbered on this diagram, so you can find them on the sheet so you can build the kit. We move over to the top right quarter. You have the start of the assembly flowchart with part 1 and part 2 coming together with part 3, and you just follow the arrows and part numbers on down the page until you get to the bottom part here. We go to the bottom left quarter and continue. Actually this way, and then here we get to the bottom. We go to the right quarter, continue. Once you're done with the front side, we flip it over, or in this case unfold it because I like to save space. And we have top left quarter again, and then this quarter, and then this quarter, and this quarter, and then you're done. Tools that I will use in this build. I have my standard set of tools. We have the long needle nose pliers. We have the flat nose pliers, great for a multitude of bending and twisting and grabbing. We have clippers. Absolutely have to have clippers. It helps get the parts off the trees quite easily. I have a set of precision tweezers, with one with very pointed end, one has had the pointed end ground down slightly, and a flat set. And I have a fairly standard set of tweezers that actually came in one of the Iconics kits that I bought. When it comes to shaping parts, I have an assortment of different things to use. I have dowel rods that I've used for quite some time. A couple of them have had the ends sharpened with a pencil sharpener, which are great for making cone shapes. I have a inexpensive drill bit set with a lot of different sized bits to help with forming cylinder shapes. I also have a couple of step mandrels. I'm not saying you need all of this, but these are different tools that I've acquired, and I kind of go back and forth depending on the situation. Something else that's good for shaping, I've got some round nose or ring pliers that have rounded noses on the tip, and you can use these to slowly curve different areas wherever you need to, irregular curves, back and forth. These are great for minor little detailed shaping. We have the metal sheets, we've got the instructions and some tools. Probably going to end up needing a few sockets for the larger round drum pieces. Let's put this together. It can take a few tries to find something the right size for drum-shaped parts, no pun intended. The instructions indicate to twist the tabs holding the drums on, but I thought it easier to just bend them over. Make sure to use the inner slots when attaching the rings to the top. Finding one or two of the duplicate parts in this kit is a tad tricky. It might help to compare things. The rings that represent the tension rods and casing are a pain. They tend to snag on everything. Be patient and take a few deep breaths when needed. took me several minutes to get part 26 on the bottom of the base, probably because I separated the legs and bent the tabs slightly out of shape. It would have likely been better to put 26 on, then move the legs. Putting this top part on took several minutes of trial and error as well. I think the tabs on the stool were supposed to be bent over. Oops. It was suggested by a viewer that one could put the pieces of the drum kit on the base as you go along, as you build them. I had not done it that way because I was concerned I would miss something important, but after having built the kit, that would be an okay plan. I would, however, recommend to not forget the bass drum pedal or the hi-hat pedal. I give you the drum set to go with your guitar and bass. I have built a guitar, I have built the electric bass. They weren't that complicated. Just some fighting with some bends and folds. The bass was a little bit trickier, but not much. They're among the list of easier kits. I looked at this though and I thought, okay, this is not going to be quite that simple. But it was more complicated than I expected, because of all of these rings that go on each drum, especially the two tom drums on top of the bass. They were a real pain. This kit took just over 2 hours because it was quite a bit more intense. Not to say it was a horribly complex model. It is still among the easier ones, but it's definitely more so than the guitar or the bass or than some of the other kits that I've built. In the end though, it looks pretty neat, just as they all do. And I think this will go very nicely, of course, with the two guitars. It'd be neat to put them on a display with the guitar sitting in front of them, but I'm thinking I may put something, a little magnet in the wall to hang them up, because those stands for the guitars just do not like to stay up, and that's saying something. For a lot of these kids do like to fall over. Those guitars are bad. What else can I say? And to repeat myself, it's a nice kit, great to add to the collection. It's a good kit if you're a beginner, not one of the first ones I'd start with, but one that I would work my way up to before getting into the moderate and difficult kits. But I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.